The Great Train Robbery. Cue the clattering wheels and the rhythmic chug-chug as the Royal Mail train made its way through the British countryside. Bruce Reynolds was the mastermind orchestrating this symphony of thievery. Then there was Ronald Biggs, the daring fugitive who would later make headlines for his elusive escape. It all started with a meticulous plan, the kind that makes you wonder if they had a cat burglar consultant. On the fateful night of August 8, 1963, the gang halted the Royal Mail train in its tracks quite literally. A fake signal light, a well-timed ambush, and voila. The train came to an unexpected halt, a stage set for our heist in the moonlit English countryside. Here's the kicker. The robbers weren't your run-of-the-mill crooks. No, they were meticulous, like cats stalking their prey. As the train ground to a halt, the gang infiltrated the carriages with military precision, leaving the unsuspecting crew and passengers in their slumber. Now, what were these rogues after? Well, hold on to your whiskers, because they were after cold, hard cash to the tune of £2.6 million. These bandits scooped up mail bags bursting with banknotes. As the sunrise painted the sky, the gang melted away into the shadows, leaving nothing but confusion in their wake. The gang, hotly pursued by the law, sought refuge in a hideout named Leatherslade Farm. It was here that they counted their loot and reveled in their successful pilfering. And where later the police found a monopoly board with fingerprints that led to the eventual arrest and conviction of most of the gang. But it was a cat and mouse game, with the robbers dodging capture while the police combed the British countryside. One by one, the members were nabbed, but the loot remained elusive. Ronald Biggs managed to slip through the paws of justice, at least for a while. Bruce Reynolds, the grand orchestrator, managed to elude capture for a few years. He eventually returned to the UK in 1968, ready to face the music. The loot, however, remained a mystery. Legend has it that Reynolds hid his share so well that it's still waiting for a lucky soul to stumble upon it. Treasure hunt, anyone? Hit the like button with your lucky finger if £2.6 million would make you happy as a seagull with a French fry. The Stockholm Norrmalmstorg Robbery. The bustling city of Stockholm is the stage for our gang of robbers armed with bravado and a plot that would redefine criminal drama. It all began on August 23, 1973, in the Kreditbanken in Norrmalmstorg Square. As the clock struck high noon, the robbers stormed the bank, sending shockwaves through the Swedish capital. It was a classic cat and mouse game, with hostages unwittingly cast as the mice. As the days unfolded, something extraordinary happened. The hostages began to form an unexpected bond with their captors, a psychological phenomenon that would later be dubbed Stockholm Syndrome. It was as if the cat and mouse had started to share a saucer of milk. Symptoms were empathy for the captors, a fear of law enforcement, and a peculiar sense of camaraderie with those who held them against their will. It was like a surreal catnip-induced dream that left psychologists scratching their heads. As the siege continued, negotiations ensued, and the robbers eventually surrendered. But the echoes of Stockholm Syndrome reverberated through the psychology textbooks, leaving us to ponder the curious connections that can arise in the unlikeliest of circumstances. The Antwerp Diamond Heist. Let's set the scene in the diamond capital of the world, Antwerp, Belgium, where the largest diamond heist in history took place. Enter Leonardo Notarbartolo, the cunning mastermind who orchestrated this shiny symphony. The plan? Oh, it was a masterpiece. On the night of February 15th, 2003, the gang infiltrated the Antwerp Diamond Center using a series of meticulously planned maneuvers. They made the perfect heist movie cast. Notarbartolo was the social manipulation expert and leader of the team. Then there was his friend Speedy, the weird one.
Exactly.
The monster, a tall, strong man who was also an expert lockpicker, electrician, mechanic, and driver. The genius, a specialist in alarm systems. And the king of keys, an older man said to be the best key forger in the world. They never caught him.
Oh.
As the clock struck midnight, the heist kicked off like a feline prowling through the shadows. The group used a variety of methods to overcome the security systems, and the investigators were confused as to how they managed to gain entry without triggering anything. The gang even bypassed the vault's laser system with precision, and the vault door swung open, revealing the glittering treasures within. The stolen loot wasn't just any stash, it was a collection of diamonds, gold, and silver worth over $100 million, a jaw-dropping haul that would make any jewel thief purr with satisfaction. As dawn approached, the thieves slipped away into the night, leaving a dust storm of diamonds behind. Of course, the law was just around the corner. The authorities, like determined feline hunters, pursued the gang with a vengeance. Notar Bartolo and his crew were apprehended, but the loot, much like elusive catnip, remained missing. Hit the subscribe button to join the imaginary search party. The Isabella Gardner Museum heist. Our next story takes place in the hallowed halls of the Isabella Gardner Museum in Boston. It was the night of March 18, 1990, under the shadow of St. Patrick's Day festivities, when our feline bandits, disguised as police officers responding to a fabricated disturbance, sauntered into the museum, ready to create their own masterpiece of thievery. Among the 13 stolen artworks was Rembrandt's The Storm on the Sea of Galilee and Vermeer's illustrious The Concert, hailed as one of the world's most valuable unrecovered paintings. The thieves' selection baffled experts, as they bypassed more valuable pieces, opting instead for a curious mix of artwork, including a Chinese gu and a French imperial eagle finial. Over the years, theories have swirled about the perpetrators' identities and motives. Some point fingers at the Boston Mafia, while others suspect a local gang's involvement. The art world mourned, but the mystery endures. Where are the stolen artworks? It is a question that echoed through the corridors of investigative scrutiny. The stolen masterpieces remain missing, their absence casting a shadow over the museum's legacy. The stolen treasures, curated by the museum's founder, Isabella Gardner, were intended for permanent display, so empty frames remain hanging in hopes of the painting's return. And as empty frames hang in silent vigil, a $10 million reward is offered for information that leads to the masterpiece's recovery. The Pink Panthers. This gang has left such a profound mark on the history of crime that I can't pick just one heist. We need to talk about the Pink Panthers as a whole. In the world of high-stakes crime, this international jewel thief network has over 800 core members, comprised of ex-soldiers with military expertise from Serbian and Montenegrin backgrounds. Both men and women play pivotal roles in their meticulously orchestrated heists. But what set the Pink Panthers apart? Their insatiable appetite for the world's most exquisite gems. Diamonds, sapphires, emeralds. If it sparkled, it was catnip to these thieves. And they executed their thefts with surgical precision, leaving behind a trail of empty display cases and bewilderment. In 2003, after the theft of a £500,000 diamond from a jeweler's in London, the gang earned the nickname Pink Panthers. They hid the diamond in a jar of face cream, mimicking an act seen in the film The Return of the Pink Panther. They have pulled off some of the most audacious robberies in history, earning accolades from criminologists who compare their crimes to artistry. The Pink Panther's audacity knows no bounds. In a daring display of confidence, they targeted renowned jewelry stores, executing their plans with precision and flair. From London to Tokyo, their meticulous attention to detail ensured a staggering success rate. In one infamous heist, they drove Audis through a Dubai storefront, making off with millions in watches and gems. In Paris, they wore disguises and escaped with over $100 million in jewelry from Harry Winston. In Cannes, they orchestrated a Hollywood-worthy theft at the Carlton Hotel, making off with jewels worth $136 million. Interpol, FBI, and various international law enforcement agencies pursued the Panthers, but these elusive felines slipped through their fingers like quicksilver. Despite their cunning, the agencies have managed to make significant arrests. Several members have been apprehended, with some facing lengthy prison sentences. Yet the Pink Panthers' legacy endures with daring escapes and continued criminal activity, keeping authorities on their toes. Their heists became the stuff of legend. And the stolen jewels, some recovered, some forever lost, but each gem bearing the mark of the Panther's elusive touch. Now leave your own mark in the like button and tell me in the comments, did I forget any big heist you think deserved to be here?